Good afternoon to you, meteorologist Nicholas Herboso here. We got a lot to talk about on Next Weather here on this Thursday. We thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we are breaking down the severe weather threat that'll be happening as we get towards this weekend. Friday night, we have something to keep an eye on, and then late in the day on Saturday as well. Those seem to be our peak times for severe weather, especially that Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening time frame. We're going to kind of go through some of the meteorology. We're going to look at the near term, and also we have a lunar eclipse happening tonight, so we're going to talk about that as well. So it's a lot to talk about. I will address questions as well. I do have our live stream pulled up. You can be sure on the Facebook live stream to go ahead and put your comments in there so I can see that. Let's just get right to it because we are going to be butting up against the 4 o'clock show. I don't want to take too much time on this, but let's go ahead and get to what's going on across the nation at this point. We have our leading system that we've talked about, that we mentioned, we'd have a little chance for storms on Thursday here. Those storms have happened mostly to the east of our area, which is pretty much what we were expecting. But that is the system there. And now we're turning our attention to a system that is off to our west. This is a really, really powerful trough that is diving there into the southern part of the California there, the kind of base of that trough driving all the way down to like Baja California. So this is a really deep, really sharp trough that's moving across the nation. And as this trough tracks across the country, we are going to get a new low pressure system that develops somewhere over the Midwest. That'll be the first leading system. Then on the back side of this, we'll have another trough that slides on in, and that will be the one that comes through our area and actually gives us that chance for storms. So it's a lot to talk about, a lot to think about in that long range forecast. However, right now we are really quiet. It is 78 degrees in Mobile. We have some showers off to our east here with a couple of thunderstorms. We had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings today. That's just off to our east. So far we have been calm and quiet. That is a good thing to see. Our local radar right now is quiet. I do want to hop over though to kind of the Wiregrass region of Alabama around Dothan, where we do have some showers that are going on, and you can see there's a couple severe thunderstorm warnings out there as well. This is a part of that leading trough, that Thursday system that we've been talking about. That is actually what has happened with this. We've had just a few showers. Otherwise, not a lot going on. And I think through your evening, the only thing that we're going to be dealing with, partly cloudy skies, and that could impact our eclipse viewing experience. And we'll talk about the eclipse in just a moment. First of all, for today, we do have a severe weather risk that is off to our east, and that is in that area near the Wiregrass of Alabama, where we have a few thunderstorms that are possible that could be stronger, but this is a really low-end threat. I just want to kind of mention it because it's in passing and it's the day one outlook. Let's go ahead and switch to day two. So if you remember, I talked about it just a second ago. That trough that's over California at this point sweeps across the plains, and as it does, in the central and northern plains, we have a low pressure system that will develop, a very strong low pressure system that will develop. Northern Mississippi Valley, it'll track across and get into the Great Lakes region. As that does that tomorrow, on Friday, there will be a severe weather risk for portions of Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and even into kind of the Mid-South region there. The peak severe weather risk being that level 4 moderate risk. This is for Friday, not for Saturday. This is for Friday. So that system will sweep up to the north and into the Great Lakes, giving them a risk of severe weather. Then let's go to Friday night. Friday night will be the first time where we have to pay attention to things. So this is your first note that you have to take down. Friday night will be something to watch. That means Friday night into Saturday morning. The timing on this, I would say overnight, so after 10 p.m. until 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. There is now a slight risk of severe weather for our inland counties, and I really want to pay attention to this slight risk area. Greene County, Washington County, Clark County, portion of Monroe County, portion of Baldwin, Mobile, and George County as well. So all of these areas north of Interstate 10, Highway 84 corridor, especially north and west of Interstate 65. We could see a couple thunderstorms. When I say a couple, I mean literally a couple. It's going to be very sparse. Thunderstorms that roll south to north or kind of southwest to northeast overnight Friday night. Overnight Friday night, we see a couple storms roll inland. Those could be strong to severe. They could pack a punch, possibly producing damaging winds, possibly producing hail, and yes, I cannot rule out a tornado threat, even though it does look like a lower end one. the environment overall will be kind of getting more intense as we go through the day on Saturday, but I think the overnight Friday night, it's not, it's not fully cooked yet. So this is going to be kind of a halfway there severe weather threat. Again, overnight Friday night, highly conditional as well. Some of the forecast models actually do not show this risk happening, while other forecast models do show this risk happening. So again, I'm talking about Friday night, inland areas, in that yellow area, in that yellow slight risk. I would pay particular attention to that, and some of our forecast models are showing that as well. All right, so that's Friday night. That we can consider that round one. Okay, we can consider that round one, Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday morning itself, like I'm talking 7 a.m. to noon on Saturday. 7 a.m. to noon on Saturday, it's going to be quiet. It's going to be partly cloudy, maybe mostly cloudy. It's going to be breezy. It's going to be a nice day on Saturday. But then the afternoon is when things get more active. This is a new update from the Storm Prediction Center showing the new risk levels for our day 3 outlook, Saturday into Saturday night. This will be, for a good chunk of the FOX10 viewing area, a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk for severe weather. To provide some context for you here, we get a moderate risk about twice a year. So this is going to be one of our times. Is this overall severe weather setup rare? No, I would not call it rare. It's March. This happens all the time here. And typically twice a year we get, a high-end risk, and that's this. So that moderate risk portions to Louisiana, Mississippi, and actually in the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center, they expanded that moderate risk northward all the way up to the Huntsville area. So wide, expansive risk of storms. Looking at it locally, again, you see that red area. Don't get too worked up in the lines. I think either way, wherever we are, we do all in the FOX10 viewing area, from folks watching in Cantonment, Grand Bay, Pace, Atmore, and let us know where you're watching in the comments as well. Everybody, Saturday afternoon and into Saturday evening, early Saturday night, will have a risk of some strong to severe storms. Some of them could be rather significant. And that's just the deal. We have pretty decent confidence in that happening. The overall individual threats for Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and into Saturday night, I would consider the tornado threat pretty elevated. I would consider the wind threat pretty elevated as well. I mean, into that higher categories there. If you're on a 1 through 5 scale, think of it as 4 to 5. The hail risk, it's pretty decent as well. It's a more significant risk. Some of these thunderstorms, the type of thunderstorm is very special. It's called a supercell thunderstorm. Essentially, it's just kind of a super thunderstorm. It's a rotating thunderstorm, really organized, really strong, and we will have a batch of supercell thunderstorms rolling across the area Saturday afternoon to Saturday evening. And on top of the tornado wind threat, they do pack a hail threat and sometimes big hail, so just be ready for that. Flooding threat, I'm not too worried about it. It's going to be scattered storms. And another thing that I kind of want to really stress about this Saturday afternoon and evening batch of storms is I don't think everybody is going to see rain the entire time. In fact, that's not at all what's going to happen. It's going to be a period where you have some rain as any of those storms are rolling across your neck of the woods, if you live anywhere in the FOX10 viewing area, because they're going to be more isolated, more scattered. It is not going to be a big mass of rain. Maybe late in the day we have a line or a broken line that rolls through. That's that early Saturday night threat, but that's kind of a maybe with that one. There's a little bit of uncertainty with that. So my focus point again is Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Take your notes there. Again, for anybody that has events on Saturday morning, it is going to be extremely windy, but I think Saturday morning, 7 a.m. to noon is actually pretty decent. So kind of an overall summary, what do you need to be doing at this point? Widespread severe storms are expected across. This is pretty much going to be what we would consider a severe weather outbreak across the Deep South. No reason to panic, of course. Just make sure you're staying informed. And if you are one of my friends that are watching this at this point, first of all, thank you for watching live and staying updated on this. We need people like you to share this message because we want to keep everybody aware. We're not doing this for clicks. We're not doing this for likes. We're doing this because we want to keep everybody aware and keep everybody safe. And whenever the weather gets this significant, safety does become kind of a priority. Typically with our weather and our tornadoes, you could probably not pay attention and get off just fine. Our weather's active here, but a lot of our tornadoes are really weak. But these types of thunderstorms are going to be kind of special on on Saturday afternoon. They could be really, really strong. And yes, that does have the potential to produce some damage. So we're going to have to watch that closely. Review your severe weather plan. Know where to go if a warning is issued. Know where to go if a high-end severe thunderstorm warning is issued or tornado warning. Make sure you have sturdy structure to go to. I'm talking small room on the lowest floor of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You know the drill for that. Get into an interior room if the tornado warning is issued. I want you to remember that. And you can be a hero as well and share that information with others. Somebody has just moved down here and does not know. And thank you, by the way, guys, for putting in your locations. I'm seeing that. Foley, Mobile, Elsinore, Mobile. Thank you, Kathleen, Wilmer, Biola Battery, Cantonment, all these. Thank you for putting those in there. I can get an idea of where y'all are watching from. If you have friends, though, that are moved down here from a non-severe weather area, it's going to be kind of jarring to them to live through an event like this that's probably going to be a little higher end. So just share the message with them and make sure that they know that stuff's going to be happening. And one of the keys that you can tell them about is to make sure that they have a way to receive warnings. Download our FOX10 weather app. That's a great app. Download any kind of weather alerting app. That's just great. You need to have that. Make sure you have your wireless emergency alerts turned on. So that can be ready, and you can get those notifications on your phone automatically. Also, weather radio is an important thing. A couple comments about the Saturday plan here, because I know there's a lot of events going on Saturday. Reminder that I said that Saturday afternoon will be the issue. I think there is a window Saturday morning where stuff can happen. However, especially with events that have a lot of tents, you're going to have to make sure those tents are secured, because the wind outside of thunderstorms is going to be extremely, extremely strong. I'm talking 25, 30 miles per hour. Remember Fat Tuesday? Yeah, that's going to be the deal there. So, yeah, just keep that in mind, of course. Marengo County, one of the places, Hannah watching from Marengo, that's going to be one of those places that's kind of in a higher risk here. So I kind of went through some of this kind of basic stuff. If you'll spare me for a second and let me go through a little meteorology real quick. I'm going to kind of go through some higher up stuff. I want to talk about the setup overall. In the upper level pattern, we're going to have a low pressure system that, or in the overall pattern, we're going to have a low pressure system that develops Midwest, tracks up to the Great Lakes. That's kind of this leading punch here. A really powerful low pressure system develops. Then there's a secondary trough that comes through in the upper levels in the deep south. You see that little dip there and see that area of yellow? Very strong winds aloft. Very strong winds aloft. Push through Saturday across our local area. So that's telling you, okay, the winds aloft are really strong. We have really, really strong winds out there. Let's go slightly lower in the atmosphere. The winds at 5,000 feet or so are going to be screaming out of the south on Saturday. This is 60, 75 miles per hour at 5,000 feet in the air. That is extremely strong. And if you notice, that wind direction is slightly different than the wind direction that was aloft. So some wind shear is going to be in this as well. This is going to be some serious wind. Also, some of that wind can mix down to the surface. That's why it's going to be so windy on Saturday. Putting this all in one map, what you're seeing here is in the orange, that is going to be the wind coming out of the south. That is the surface wind. That blue is the wind at 10,000 feet or so, give or take. And you see the difference? See the wind shear that's going to be out there? That is going to be some serious wind shear. Some of our wind shear parameters are extremely, extremely kind of high end. So with that, I mean, with the same thermodynamics that we're going to have moisture, we're going to have instability. We have to say, okay, there's going to likely be severe weather that's happening there. So it's kind of interesting to see what the shear looks like. Let's talk about moisture real quick, dew points. Anytime you have dew points in the 60s, check mark for severe weather, and boom, as you can see through the day on Saturday, we will have that. In fact, look at that, the GFS forecast model trying to put 70-degree dew points. That is extremely moist air for the storms to take advantage of. And then, of course, if you've heard me talk about it before, instability is the key. Instability is the pure key. If you do not have unstable air for storms to bubble up, you can forget any kind of severe weather threat. But this is a rare time where we really have some instability, and it's actually a decent amount of instability there. So you can see 7 p.m. There's just unstable air across our area, something we'll keep an eye on. It is 3:50. What time is it? 3:55. Okay, I gotta get out of here. We'll run through this futurecast Friday night. We could have some storms, but take a look at Saturday. Notice the afternoon Saturday, there's not a lot going on. But then as we get into the later part of the day on Saturday, you can see the showers and some thunderstorms. And it's a little scattered though, and it's kind of a broken line that rolls across late in the day. So I'm going to leave it there. I've got to get ready to go into the 4 o'clock show. We are going to have more information on the 4 o'clock show, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think we might do another live later today just to kind of talk about this again. I'm going to have a full discussion also on FOX10TV.com. It's going to be hosted very shortly. I was going to post it earlier, just didn't even get to. It's a busy day for us here. So other than that, just remember, share this with your friends. Let them know that storms are coming on Saturday. And of course, as always, we will get through this just fine. Be sure to tune in on Fox 10 News at 4 and 5. I'll be live with more details on the storms.